politics that we're talking about. We'll talk about some trivial things, and then we're going to talk about some serious things. Serious things first. So the politicians once again failed the American people. They couldn't pass the $2,000 stimulus package. I'm sorry, direct payments. Instead, both Democrats, and we're talking about people in government. We're talking about the vice president as well as the I think it's the speaker of the not the speaker of the House, but the second command, whatever, the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, I believe, Chuck Schumer. They both agreed to dismantle direct payments to individual citizens. I've listened to the Republicans in the Republican Party speak about how direct payments will allow everyone to get payments, even people who don't need such payments, like federal workers. And it's, God forbid, the federal workers get an extra $2,000 or $4,000 in their family, or $6,000, or whatever it is. And I'm looking at them like, so that's money that the government can't spend right now. Okay, so let me get it straight. The government can spend money on defense, which they're supposed to do. They just dish out money for defense. They can just dish out money, right, when they want to bail out Wall Street. Okay, but when it comes to the actual citizens of the country, for which for a country to grow, you have to help the average citizen. You see, if the standard of living of the average citizen is up, then guess what? Your whole economy is going to be up. It's not just going to be a great, strong economy in principle, but it's literally going to be a practical economy, and it's going to be driven by the creativity of the citizens and the science, experimentation, the business of the citizens. So if you don't fuel, it's called human resource. If you don't fuel into your human resource that you have in your country, it will never be stable. It will be on paper stable, but in actuality, it won't be stable. So when you look at countries like Qatar and all of these Middle Eastern countries, which are very wealthy, the citizens are very wealthy. The standard of living is very well. People are living without having to worry about, even my country, it's in a recession right now, but the standard of living is much higher than many other countries because the average person has a place to stay. The average person doesn't have to worry about what they're going to eat. The average person in my country, again, because the standard of living is so high, can stay off of the job place for a while. Even in this pandemic, there are options. And there are a lot of people who have lost their jobs in my country, but they're being sustained. So, and that's a hit the country's willing to take because you have to have people to have successful business. You just have to. This is a common sense thing. So, yes, our politicians are failing us. And Bernie Sanders has stood up, and Josh Hawley, who is remarkably despicable in terms of his support for Donald Trump at this point in time, he also must be commended, and also OAC and the congressional Republicans at Congress who stood up for the right principle. So Congress didn't let us down. It's the Senate that let us down, led by a man who does not care about the average person anyway, who is the leader of the Senate at present. What does this mean? This means, and Kamala Harris, you let us down once again. You talk all this talk, and then you just shaft the people. And I don't care about what other deals you say you're going to have later on. The people needed the money, and you haven't given them. And the situation in America is dire. It's not better than it was at the beginning of this pandemic when the first set of the stimulus package came out. The first stimulus package came out, the CARE Act. So it's bullshit that they're talking about. And these people, they're in their own reality. You know why? Because they personally don't experience any of the problems. They're just all up in legislature, and they're not the ones suffering. So they don't give a freaking hell about you or me. Okay? They're not the ones suffering. So all this bullshit about being Democrats and Republicans and these fools, all they can think about is the Georgia Senate runoffs and to show that, the Republicans didn't do anything. Look what they gave. This is the bullshit these clowns are on. All right? So I don't care about you or me, people. So like I said before, you guys need to come together in your communities, run your affairs, and screw Washington, D.C., because they're a waste of time. All of them are just jokers. And they're all bought and managed by big business, except for guys like Bernie Sanders and some of the people down in the House, in the Congressional House. Okay? How could the Congressional House pass this, but when it gets to the Senate, it's not passed? How the hell? They're Republicans in the Congressional House. How come the Republicans pass this thing? I don't care if Donald Trump is associated with it. I don't care if it seems like a win for Donald Trump in Georgia. It's something that once you support it, and Kamala Harris can support this stuff, man, forget you. Forget you. You are a joker. Okay, because this is the time. This is the crunch time where you care about people. And Mr. Schumer talking about the American people, but you can't support this. Man, forget you. People are dying. People are dying right now. And all you could do is veto something that's really important and play politics. So that's what I got to say about that. Now, here's another thing. This is pretty frivolous, but I think I want to talk about it. Donald Trump's wife, Melania Trump, people are talking about this. Donald Trump's talking about this. But Melania Trump, throughout this whole situation, has kept her honor and integrity. You can say what they want about her. She's kept her honor and integrity. Okay, some behind the scenes stuff has come out about her. But for the most part, she has kept herself with decorum. Also, the Vice President Pence, who is the Vice President of Donald Trump, has kept himself with honor and integrity through the whole process. These people steadied the ship. Otherwise, Donald Trump would have just wreaked incredible havoc like he's trying to do in these last 30 days over the American population and the American society in a whole. And he's done a lot of things to hurt the morale, not so much the infrastructure, but the morale of the American society by his crazy rhetoric and he's not a guy from Capitol Hill. He does not know how to choose his words or pick his words. And that has been very damaging, okay, globally and otherwise. And some of his policies have been very damaging as well. It's hurt a lot of people, okay, and has been callous and downright evil, okay. Now, having said all of that, I don't want to meditate on that. I want to meditate on Melania Trump. This woman's married to this man. She's going to have to spend the rest of her life with him. Okay? I'm pretty sure he's very careful about how he has his relationship with her, and how he conducts himself with her, because it looks like Melania runs things when it comes to her household and how she lives. I noticed Melania Trump she chose to do a couple of things. One, she chose not to live in the White House. She did not want to be associated with that life because it would have stained her personal life. As it is, she is separated herself from her husband in that respect, professionally, which was a wise thing to do. She and her son. The second thing is she did something very wise by not putting herself out in the public eye. Now, Donald Trump, what he actually wanted to do was follow Barack Obama's model. So as he was disrespecting Barack Obama and trying to destroy anything that was associated with Barack Obama, he tried to replace it with himself being the white face Barack Obama sort of approach. In fact, everything he's doing, he's trying to ad hocly raise a new generation of Trumpist sort of people who can go into politics. All this crazy stuff that is, we talk about crazy white man stuff. Well, here he is. This is where crazy white man come into play. And we saw it with the bomber recently, who was another crazy white man who did homegrown terrorism. And nobody's talking about that fact that the dude that blew up himself literally behaved like a jihadist, okay? Blew up himself and also his RV. This crazy white man picked this time, okay, when there's social unrest, to do what he did, okay? If you look at it, there's very few crazy black people who will do something like that, okay? We got a lot of crazy white people out here. So, and if you look at it, A lot of these crazy white people, whether it's the crazy white woman who be calling in on black people to try and get the police to kill them, it's again crazy, right? You look at Donald Trump and you look at I didn't lose the election. This is crazy. You get into these wacko like Waco, Waco, Texas. Remember that crazy stuff that went down there? We got a lot of crazy white people out here, okay? No disrespect to white people. Love you. But some of y'all just goddamn crazy. Y'all lost your shit. And y'all be crazy without reason or logic. Like, think about this. Anyway, let me leave that alone. But Melania Trump, she's not crazy. Vice President Mike Pence, they're not crazy people, okay? And I believe because they supported Donald Trump and because, Melania very wisely moved herself away from that equation. But what Donald Trump wanted to do was have Melania like Barack Obama's wife, Michelle Obama. He wanted Melania, okay, to, be, because she's a model, have her out there, look at the perfection, the white perfection or whatever. And Melania was not having that shit. She was like, hey, listen, you won the election, you worked out your plan, that's cool. But I don't want to be I don't want to be in the public's eye. So understand this. I'm going to be down in Mar-a-Lago with my son. You can do whatever you want. I'm not into the politics thing. I'm not saying if I agree with you or not. If you need my support, I'll be out there to give my support. But that's on you. That's what you wanted. That's not what I wanted. I didn't get into this relationship to become first lady of the United States of America. That's not an honor for me, which she's an immigrant, and it's really, really beautiful that happened too. But my point anyway is she was messing with that shit. Any speech she gives, she reads off the teleprompter, whatever they want her to read. She was always gracious. I never seen her not be gracious. And so she decided this is not going to wreck my personal life. I'm not riding or dying with this dude like that. I'm going to stay out of that equation. That's on you. So the focus has been on Donald Trump. Nobody's attacked. I remember once someone in the media attacked Donald Trump's son, and people was like, hey, man, that's going too far. Don't attack the kid. And I agree. These people are not in public life. They decide to stay in private life. When they come out, they do their thing. They do their role. They do their play, and then they leave. Okay? It was a very wise thing she did. And, when she married the man, she didn't have that contract to get herself involved in that crap. And from what she sees, that melee, she don't play that. Which I actually like. People trying to rope her into the political process, rope her in and lump her in with Donald Trump. And she was like, fuck that. I am not going to be in public life like that. I'm not putting myself out there like that, which was wise. So I just wanted to respect that because it's one thing. See, people always ask, how the hell did this woman get with this man? How the hell, like, for instance, Conway, the Conways, right? I forgot what her name is. She's always come up on CNN and spin things. And her husband, at certain points was just diametrically opposed to what she was saying. I don't even know if she believed what she was saying. But she did a great job again of staying as honest as she could while trying to deflect and spin things. She was very dishonest anyway, but she tried. I think Jillian Conway was her name. And her husband came blatantly out and said, this is nonsense and this is not working anymore. And he was very clear on that. And these people, the Conways or whoever they were, why these people started working for Donald Trump, and a lot of people don't understand, even some of the really reputable people who worked under the Barack Obama administration was working with Donald Trump, is because they wanted to stay near him, in his ears, and be an influence to him in as best a way as possible. And that way, they, to some degree, could limit the amount of damage, especially the moral damage that he could create, because he's not an insider. He's not a guy that has ever worked in DC. And so there's a lot of things to say about this, but just to suffice it to say that, yes, okay, he's the worst president the United States has ever seen, probably. But at the end of the day, these people being around him sort of put a safeguard uh, in terms of his intentions and what he could have done, because this dude does not understand what democracy is. Donald Trump doesn't. He understands the concept, but he doesn't understand the concept. He understands what tune to sing to certain people in the country, but he doesn't understand the mechanics of how people are, because he can't relate to it. So what he has done is, Donald Trump is a social media guy. He goes through social media all the time. He's on his phone and he's watching at videos and television, because he realized the next generation's not going to be reading books like that. He's pretty advanced in that respect. He understood the power of social media. And so he decided to use that. Now, this is not an original idea that presidents had. Barack Obama was the first guy to start using social media, and Donald Trump jumped on the idea that Barack Obama had. Barack Obama was doing it in a much more constructive, in a much more controlled way. And Donald took it and just went berserk with it. And he really made a mockery of how you proceed to deal with social media. Whereas Barack Obama was putting forward something that was constructive and helpful, Donald Trump took it to the next level and pretty much destroyed everything that Barack Obama's intentions were, which is just what it is. And so the Republican Party now, what I appreciate about, because the Republican Party has so much to offer that's so good. What I appreciate about congressmen in the Republican Party is that they were able to agree. All those people who voted, I was able to agree that these direct payments were important. And to these people, I just want to applaud them. It's not the entire of the Republican Party that's doing this. It's a certain section of them. And I also want to applaud the senators from Georgia and the senators to be from Georgia, the ones who support the $2,000 in direct payments. That is, you know why you won't find Republicans and some Democrats not supporting this directly, because that money will never go to their hands, never comes through their hands. And they want to have a grimy piece of the money. It's corrupt like that. And so Washington, D.C. once again disappoints. Washington, D.C. once again proves they're not about people. They don't care about people. They don't care about what's really going on down on the ground, because it doesn't affect them. Okay? These people pander to big business. And these so-called left-wing people are really Republicans at their core. They've been contaminated with the fact that they've been lobbied to the bone. So that's what I got to say about that. Shout out to Melania Trump, the First Lady, for keeping it at least in keeping some sort of integrity in how public office is held. And while lawsuits fly left, right, and center all over the place, hopefully some resolution will come on this issue. But it's sad when the United States Congress lets down people like that. This is something that should have been bipartisan, that should have been passed easily and immediately. And Donald Trump was right. I got to give him it. He was right to want to force it. Another thing Donald Trump said that was true, there needs to be a removal of some of these old folks from Washington, D.C. And first blood with people who come from working families, who come from situations where these problems happen, they should replace them. When you got a lady who's senile, suffering from Alzheimer's, still in the Senate, they have not voted to remove her. It's a sad day. It's a sad day. So that's all I got to say. Peace. I'm out.